Hi, my name is Renee Thompson, and I am the Chief Connections Officer at RT Connections, a company that educates, connects, and inspires current and future nurses. And we're talking about nurse fatigue. Now, I've been doing a series of vlogs and blogs on this topic, and it's been getting a lot of attention. And we have to ask ourselves, why is this idea of nurse fatigue or nurse burnout getting so much attention? Well, it's really because studies show that when nurses are burned out, it really affects nurses as individuals. It affects the entire profession of nursing. It impacts healthcare organizations and ultimately has a negative impact on patient outcomes. You know, when you think about it, when nurses don't feel good about the work that they're doing, they're not really capable of engaging in that high quality, efficient, safe patient care. Nurse fatigue leads to problems with nurses engaging in healthy relationships, work relationships, and even their ability to communicate in an assertive way. So really, bottom line is nurse fatigue is badness. It's just badness. But, it doesn't have to be that way. It's not inevitable that every nurse, burns out at some point. That's kind of taking on the victim mentality. But instead, I'm going to give you some strategies to help you to first prevent fatigue if you're a new nurse, and if you're already burned out, some things that you can do to reverse. Now, if you haven't read my blogs before or watched a video post, I highly recommend that you do that. But just to kind of catch you up, I had already defined nurse fatigue in a previous vlog and blog. And the last one that I did was about my number one strategy that I believe really has the greatest impact, getting your biggest bang for your buck and making sure that you prevent and reverse nurse fatigue. And that's committing to personal growth. And I talk about it, so you can read about it later, but it's really, when you commit to personal growth, it acts as this force field that protects you from, the evil rays of, the complexity of today's healthcare environment. So make sure that you go ahead and read that one because it's really important for you, and it is my number one strategy. But my number two strategy, and that's what I'm going to talk about today, is to move away from negative energy. All right, so how many of you work with what I call an energy vampire? Somebody that sucks the life out of you. When you see them coming around the corner, you're like, oh my God, there they are again, gloom and doom. Well, here's the problem. So we have these mirror neurons in our brain, and I talk a lot about mirror neurons. And let's say we were all in the same room together, and a couple of people started yawning. What would happen to the rest of us? Eventually, we would all start yawning because the brain is wired to mimic what we see. And the same is true when you surround yourself with negative people. So when you're around negative people, you start taking on those behaviors, and your mind starts to actually think more negative. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but you're only as good as the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Think about it. I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, it's time for me to get some new friends. The same is true with what you expose yourself to. So what do you do when you first wake up in the morning, or when you get in your car? Do you turn on the radio and listen to the news? And then you listen to stabbings and murders and rapes and the tanked economy and the gloom and doom with the furloughs with the government. Oh my gosh, all of that is actually entering into your mind and contributing to this feeling of gloom and doom, fatigue, not feeling good about not only the work that you do, but not feeling good about life in general. So there's this famous quote by the late Jim Rohn, who I love his stuff. He said, you need to stand guard at the doorway to your mind, and don't allow that negative energy to enter into it, because it all has an effect on you. Science tells us this. We know this. So you got to, step away from the negative people and the negative information. So here's your action step, what I want you to do. You need to start surrounding yourself with positive people. I want you to think about who the positive people are in your life, and you need to actively engage in spending more time with them. Start watching feel-good movies, some of my favorite. Did you ever see the movie Billy Elliot? Oh my God, I love that movie. That little boy dancing, he was great. It always makes me feel good when I watch it. Or The Blind Side, or my kids are grown, but every now and then when Nemo's on, I'll watch Nemo just because it makes me feel good. And some YouTube videos. My favorite YouTube video is that one where there was that mentally challenged young boy, high school basketball, and what happened on the court. It's on my blog. I have the link there. You've got to watch it. Every time I watch it, I get goosebumps. It's just amazing. You want to get those kinds of feelings. You want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with good people, that you're paying attention to good things, that you're reading good things, things that make you feel good, because, again, mirror neurons, you will start taking on those behaviors. Nurse fatigue isn't inevitable. You can actually do something to prevent it. And I encourage all of you to take action on this, because you deserve to feel good about the work that you do. So stay tuned for my next vlog and blog. Take care, stay connected, and I hope I see you soon. Bye.